Oh, hey. I hope you slept well. You seemed pretty exhausted.
Okay, a bit of a diversion.
What can I help you with?
After our previous outings, we accumulated several things. First of all, we now have maximum crew that this ship can handle. And I can assign one more crew, given that I've got Sarah going. She kind of doesn't count towards my total. But to get that one more crew, I'm going to need to expand the ship a little bit. I've got 60,000 credits after selling a whole bunch of weapons that I accumulated. So we're going to do a modest ship.
Got anything you need to offload? Trader? Okay, no problem.
So I have several things I want to fix on this ship. The first thing is we need to get another crew station so we can go from max crew 2 to max crew 3. Which means I'm going to be adding in a module that has some crew stuff in it. Second thing is I want better weapons. And third thing is I want more cargo. And between all of that, that means I'm going to also need to upgrade the engines and the grav drive and the reactor. And I'm hoping I have enough money for the whole thing. First step, pull these off to the side. I'm going to keep the Frontier module, at least for now. And that's going to go away. So the largest part of this is the upgrade, the hab. We're going to bring in an engineering bay, which will add one crew station to our ship. And that just goes right in like that. And we put everything else back. And if all we were doing was trying to get the crew going, we just drop this on top, and Bob's your uncle. Nice and cheap. That's not all we're doing. I also want to update the weapons. We're going to delete the old weapons. And I'm going to replace them all with the Disruptor 3300 electron beam, which is a particle beam weapon. So this does damage equally to the hull and to the shield. So we don't have to switch weapons, take the shield down, then switch to the other weapon, and then you have to take into account the fact that you have to power both weapons at once, or you have to juggle power in the middle of that. I prefer to just use the disruptor beams. Toss 4 of those on. And I am going to assign the weapons so that warning goes away. We're going to still have warnings for the other 2 weapon slots that aren't assigned. The other warning we've got is that we have now increased the mass of our ship to the point where our mobility is considered low, and I will be fixing that. I'm going to get rid of the old cargo there, and instead I'm going to put on some new cargo. I'm going to use these 200 cm ballasts, or maybe Caravel 102s. At this stage, all of these guys are approximately the same cost per cargo, cost in terms of mass. This is slightly more cargo, and I'd like to look better. It's slightly more mass. I think that in the end, we'll end up with enough engines to deal with that. If we can't get our mobility back up to where we want it, I can always swap the cargo back. So at this point, we don't have a docker. I am going to put one in. I want to do one of these slim dockers. So what is our current challenge? Well, we are way under mobility, to the point where there's an error. Flight check. Too heavy for grav jump, so we have to increase our grav jump thrust. We also need to increase our engine. I fiddled around with this build enough to know that going with better engines doesn't quite get us there. So we're going to add some engines out on the edge here. Oops. We're just going to toss a couple of cheap white dwarf 1000s out there. And if this turns out to be not enough, we can fix it later. But you notice our mobility is all the way up at 100 again. So now we need to update the grav drive and the reactor. Everything else is good. I would love to be able to exit at this point and then use the normal update menu, but it won't let me. So instead, I'm going to peel those off. First of all, go to grav drives. And I am going to go with the R1000 because it's got the most thrust, 16 thrust. This guy is a Class B. And the Helios, this also has 16 thrust. Wait a minute. They both cost the same. They have the same mass, same value. A916. 25. These are essentially identical. Let's go with that one because it keeps the original look. And now reactors. We had one of these 115s. If we go to this, this gets us 18 power. We're going to go with the one that gets us more power. So what do we end up with? Top speed 150, mobility of 100. We're only going to get that top speed if we put all 12 pips into the engines. That's unfortunate, but it's what it is. Used to be that we could max out our engines at a lower power. But in return for that, we do have 100 mobility, so we can turn quickly. Else do I here? I could get more fuel on board so we could jump more jumps. That wouldn't increase our jump range. That would say if we're doing multiple jumps across the galaxy, it would mean we could do farther than multi-jump. Not too important, actually. Shield is good enough. What would it cost to upgrade the shield? We could do that. Shield's 355, that's 340. That's a Class B shield. Let's go with that one. So, modest shield upgrade while we're doing this. So the only numbers in red are that we limited 2 of our weapon options and we're heavier, but everything else is good. We've got 16 light year jump range, so that's fine for now. Mobility 100, top speed of 150, that's the best we can do. And the total cost to us is 42,000 credits, so we'll still have a good chunk of credits going out of this. But this is a fine upgrade. And it's going to take all of the detritus and put it in the cargo hold. So we are using these larger cargo holds.
Sure, I've got a minute.
And there's the new one. Take a look at it here. So on this view, we do have a new value of the ship. Reactor 18, crew is up to 3, which is where we need it. Jump is at 16 light years, good enough. Good shield. We have particle beam weapons, 48 points worth of that. Cargo, we have 840 cargo that we can carry. So unless we start going wild, this will do us for a while. Now when it moved all of the stuff into the cargo,
Like we've been gone forever.
hey, here's our new engineering bay. And upstairs, I don't like ladders, but we can't get rid of them quite yet. I mean, I could start shopping around and we could do a funky configuration. This is possibly not the best spot for the docker, but yeah. We haven't got a whole lot of options until we start building much larger, more expensive ships. Hey Barrett, you're blocking the hallway. You don't get it. And we now have room to add a crew.
Hey,
So I'm going to take these books and I'm going to put them in the other cargo bay, the captain's locker. That leaves all of this stuff in the ship's cargo hold. And we can sell some of this. This is the detritus that was left around. And you'll notice that even though we move things around, you don't need to use the ladder. Oh, it did actually clear things out. So when you move things, at least initially it's going to be empty. I don't know if the other stuff spawns again later. We'll keep our eyes on it. I'm going to go sell the junk.
Hi. Please disregard.
Kind of reclaiming junk from the previous configuration. Sell from Frontier. So we had coffee bags. Going to keep the stuff that gives persuasion. And is there anything here we want to buy back? Basically, I'm looking for plushies. So after reconfiguring the ship and selling off the junk, we now have a little over 21,000 credits remaining. And I like this refit, so we're going to keep it. And I'm going to seal up this recording and commit to this as my save.